Hi guys, welcome to this week's edits. It was a terrific win by the boys on the weekend, obviously against not top of the table but possibly one of the best sides in the competition at the moment in Hawthorn, who obviously were playing some pretty scintillating football prior to the weekend. The guys went in with a plan and executed it really well, which from a coaching point of view was terrific. And probably the biggest thing for us was the intensity effort that the players brought. I thought defensively was outstanding and probably as good as we've done it this year. So that was a real credit to them. The big thing for us, we're just got to make sure we back it up this week against a really good side in Adelaide that are a bit like us, playing for a finals position. More importantly, we're on their home deck, so it's always going to be a tough game. So we're looking forward to a big challenge this Friday night. Let's go through the questions. Hawthorn had the lowest score of the season and the second lowest since 2010. Since round 8, we seem to be really good at stopping teams in the tracks. Who gets the credit? Ross, Smith or yourself? Look, Ross is obviously in charge of our defensive formation overall, and we do charge him with that, so he's been terrific in getting that up and going. But realistically, it's a team effort. So Ross, in effect, will do with the overall team structure, but then we break it down for lines, forwards, mids and backs from there on in. So I think we've only averaged, I think we're AFL number 2 since about round 8, I think averaging 65 or 66 points against, so it's been terrific. And midfield turnover, I think we're AFL number 2, possibly number 1 after the weekend. So we've been pleased with that. It's an area that we identified at the end of last year that we need to get better at. So we've been really impressed with our players, for one, implementing the structure, but two, for improving defensively through our training on the off-season, which is a real credit to all our coaches, not only Ross, but the most important thing against the big sides, you need a really strong defence. So we're looking for that to continue and continue to get better over the course of the remaining 5 games this year. Next question, pressure points. I read that Trent, Newman and Deledio had career high pressure points. What the hell are pressure points? That's a really good question. Pressure points is broken down into a number of areas. Basically, it's implied and physical pressure. So the implied are the ones where, for example, you may chase an opponent or corral an opponent and not quite get any physical impact on them. They add up to your pressure points. Manning the mark, for example, is an implied act. Whereas a physical act's a tackle or an attempted tackle, those sort of ones there. So what it basically means is the amount of defensive pressure, in effect, you can put on the opposition whilst they've got the ball. So the more times the opposition have the ball, the more times you get the opportunity to perform pressure. So the ratings we get are a little bit different than the actual total pressure points. Like, for example, Trent had, I think, 63 or 64 pressure points on the weekend, but we sort of divide that by a figure and we get a weighting number, so we can see how well we defend against all sides going along. So it's a really important facet of our game, something we look at heavily, more so than tackles. Tackles to me, or to us, are a little bit of I wouldn't say a fallacy, because, for example, we had a contested ball differential, we won that by +20, so obviously we've got the ball, we can be tackled a hell of a lot more. So obviously Hawthorn won the tackles on the weekend. So tackles, whilst an indicator, are not a strong indicator of success from our point of view. We prefer the pressure points in that system, so that's why we use a lot more with our players. Final question from Hayden. We seem to take a ton of MOPs, mark off opposition kicks. What is the value in that apart from cleaning the floor? MOPs effectively are, as we just saw then, the Jake Batchelor one. When you take an MOP, the chance of you scoring from that increases dramatically. It's a direct chain that, one, because it's an intercept, you can generally go the other end and probably give yourself a scoring opportunity. So we rate them really highly, as do a lot of other sides. We're probably fortunate that we've got a number of players that are very good at this. Alex Rance probably been one of the best in the AFL. Troy Chaplin not far behind. In fact, all our backs, Jake Batchelor, Dylan Grimes and Nick Vlosten are all very good at this area. So we're pretty lucky to have the value of those guys increase because of that. And as I said, the chance of you scoring increases dramatically when you do get an MOP. So you'll see at stages where our guys will go for their marks, not so much in defensive 50, but across the ground. Because we know the chance of us scoring from them are higher than the risk associated with them not marking the ball, if that makes sense. So they are really important, and we continue to back our players to back in their ability to make sure we take those marks. So good result for us on the weekend. Huge challenge this week versus Adelaide. So look, if those supporters in Adelaide, if you can get there to cheer us on, that'd be a great result. But otherwise, sit down on the couch, cup of tea, beer, whatever it choose, but make sure you're supporting the Tigers this weekend. See you soon. Bye.